there is no playbook on Bill handling a first-round drafted quarterback. That's just there's zero playbook to that. With Bledsoe being the last one who was drafted in New England, and that predates Belichick. And then you look at what he had even in Cleveland. You can't even go there. You can't. I mean, like literally, when was the last time Bill even had anything remotely close to this or of his own doing? So there's no playbook here, and the question is what does happen if Newton starts and things of that nature, and we don't have the playbook on that at all, or any history. So how does Jones work in? Does he just do it just because he's got to do it, or pull, or does he think that with the free agency frenzy, the Patriots have a shot to win the division Super Bowl this year? Jeff, that's the question, I guess.
Have a shot. And I think you're looking at this defense. I mean, it's an overhauled group. There's a lot of reasons to think that this defense could be the number one scoring defense in the league for the third time in the last 6 years. I mean, they're loaded. Their front should be ridiculous as long as they keep their secondary intact. And we'll see what happens with Stephon Gilmore in the coming months. But they can win games defensively, so they just need some competent quarterback play. Going into this offseason, there was a full admission that Cam Newton had to be better. He had to clean up some accuracy issues. He had to clean up some mechanics. His left foot continued to get away from him at times last season, and that's why there were a lot of throwing inconsistencies. But there was also a concession of there wasn't a lot of help around him. So they're going to try to see over the next few months if adding Hunter Henry and Jonnu Smith and Nelson Aguilar and Kendrick Bourne and even beefing up the offensive line with Trent Brown, they're going to see if that is going to help Cam Newton. And he's going to have a few months here to prove whether or not that's the case. And that's totally different from last year when, there was basically, they were going in for a 2-week tryout. And it was those three guys. It was more realistically between Cam Newton and Jarrett Stidham. Stidham had 7 interceptions in the first 4 practices and then injured his hip. And Cam Newton played well enough that the competition was over. And bang, you had to prepare him for week 1 because that was a sprint. Right now, I mean, you've got almost a full off-season workout program. You're going to have 3 preseason games. You're going to have a full training camp. So they're going to know. They're going to have a much, much better idea by the time Labor Day comes around whether or not Cam Newton can be a better quarterback than he was a year ago. As long as that happens, he's going to be the starter. Now, if it's close, then you got some more of a dilemma, I guess, if you want to call it. And then you look at the first 4 games. The first 4 games are some tough matchups. The next 5 or 6 are a softer spot in the schedule. So, again, if it's close, I think you got a minimum of 4 starts for Cam Newton before they have to think about whether or not they go to Mac Jones. If Jones is ever going to take over, if he doesn't start the season, it's between weeks 6 and 11. And then the other part of that is this offense, it's built to run. It's built to win with power. But if you're talking about throwing the ball, with the 2 tight ends, the receivers that you added with Aguilar and Kendrick Bourne, with Jacoby Myers as a slot receiver, I mean, you're built to throw the ball over the middle of the field. You need really good accuracy there. And where does Mac Jones thrive? I mean, he thrives by throwing an accurate ball. That was on display today. If Newton's accuracy issues continue to plague him deep into the summer, and Mac Jones is able to learn enough of the playbook and clearly can throw an accurate ball over the middle to allow those guys to make plays, that's going to be the thing that really is going to push Newton the most, in my opinion.
How about that? So when you say, Jeff Howe of The Athletic here on the Rich Eisen Show, when you say that Newton's going to get the first 4 games and then after that maybe Mac Jones territory, you don't think Belichick will give Jones his first career start the night Brady comes in on Sunday Night Football, the whole country, Jeff? You don't think he's got that flair of the dramatic?
Yeah.
What do you think, Jeff?
You know what? I didn't expect Belichick to give Mac Jones the number 2 reps today in front of the media, which was clearly, big spotlight. All of us quality journalists over there at Gillette Stadium in the practice field, just ready to pump everybody's tires. But he did. So you know what? Mac Jones, Tom Brady, Week 4, Sunday Night Football. That'd be great.
LFG, to use the phrase from back in the day. Hey, you watched all the way to the end. Thanks for that. Watch more right here.